George Stinney Jr.'s case is a tragic and notorious example of racial injustice in the American legal system. In 1944, George Stinney Jr. was accused of the murder of two white girls, 11-year-old Betty June Binnicker and 8-year-old Mary Emma Thames, in Alcolu, South Carolina. The girls had been beaten to death, and their bodies were found in a ditch. Stinney, who was only 14 years old at the time, was arrested by the police and taken into custody. He was interrogated without his parents or a lawyer present and reportedly confessed to the crime after hours of questioning. There was no physical evidence linking Stinney to the murders, and his confession was the main basis for his conviction. Stinney's trial was a deeply flawed and unjust proceeding. The all-white jury deliberated for only 10 minutes before finding him guilty of murder. The trial, which lasted less than a day, was conducted in a segregated courtroom with no African Americans allowed in attendance. Despite his young age and the lack of evidence against him, Stinney was sentenced to death by electrocution. He was executed on June 16, 1944, becoming the youngest person to be executed in the United States in the 20th century. For decades, Stinney's case was largely forgotten until it was brought to light by activists and advocates for criminal justice reform. In 2014, Stinney's conviction was posthumously overturned by a South Carolina judge, who cited the lack of due process and the egregious miscarriage of justice in his trial. The case of George Stinney Jr. serves as a stark reminder of the racial bias and systemic injustices that have plagued the American legal system, particularly in the Jim Crow era. It also highlights the importance of ensuring fair trials, due process, and equal treatment under the law. We hope this Majestic Mind Matters University sponsored Mandatory Mental Liberation Series information, produced by Baba Jelani Bamani Dembe, was instrumental in your royal quest for more knowledge of self on your journey to melanin-rich culture enlightenment.